Hello and welcome to Doncaster Motorcycles YouTube channel and the Facebook post and the Twitter post and everywhere else you see this post. So this is another Harley Davidson we've got on the bench. The reason you're on this bench, you will have noticed we have longer, wider ones for the more common sports bikes and things that we do. But on the Harleys, the flat bottom, I prefer a round bottom, but a flat bottom on the Harleys, and we can get them on this bench easier, they're more secure. So this one in particular, we're going to have to set the front end out completely because the steering head bearings, although it's hard to show a visual on the video, are very notchy. When we've got all the weight off, I might be able to do another part of the video where you can see the centralising. But basically, it's dropping into grooves and stopping the steering from being so smooth, so it'll be tracking quite badly. Hitting white lines, it'll be even worse. But as you banked over, it'll be wanting to straighten up and stand you up. So it's an MOT failure. So of course they need replacing. Sometimes you get away with greasing them all, but when they're as bad as this, replacement really is the only option, and packing with good grease. So there we have, the forks are out, the yokes are out, and there we go, look at the state of that bearing. As I took the forks out, you'll see the water there, the loads dropped. So it's been sitting in water, so whether there's water being got through the neck tube or the headstock tube or whatever you want to call it, but basically look at that. Let's have a look at the top bearing. Ooh. Yeah. Really rusty and grimy in there. No wonder it was notchy. So now we've got the yoke out, or the triple tree, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's triple tree in States, so there's bottom yoke over here in the UK. Now we need to remove this circlip. Neil needs to throw his stomach around a little less more while I'm recording. So we need to remove this circlip. That will help us in the next process, the next step of the bearing removal. So I've now got it set up in the press so we can push the steering stem out and be able to release the bottom steering head bearing. close visual, make sure it's all good. It will take a lot of pressure, so we don't need to worry about it. If it does get excessive, you can see, well, you can feel the amount of force you're going to put through the press. So it's hardly took anything. Sometimes that's enough to release the steering bearing. All the way through, so a little spacer. Little spacer. Right, I've dug around, found a little spacer. It's just slightly smaller than the diameter of the pin. So if you don't want it perfectly, I'll push it all the way through. There we go. You see that? We've got focus on it. Camera one, we've got focus. We've lost the washer, but don't worry about it. We've got focus. So yeah, there's the bearing. So we'll knock that off the shaft and put the shaft back in. Yeah. So the shaft, the bearing, lined up, we push that straight through the bearing, the old one out of the way. She's on full. Voila. There's nothing more satisfying than a shaft in a really tight orifice, is it? I enjoy watching that.
Oh, Dr. Tepi, why do you put the steering stem and the bearing races in the freezer? Thermodynamics, bitches.
Right, so now I've got the races and the stem in the freezer for the, if you've seen the little short in the thermodynamics, picture short, you'll know I put them in there to, oh you won't know, you know I put them in there, but what you don't know is I put them in there to make them colder so they contract inside. I know it's only a minuscule amount, but it does help putting the races back into the fork tube, headstock, and putting the bearing back onto the stem. It will make all that process much easier. So you warm other things up if you can to expand them, and then you shrink the other components, and then they go together easier. And then when everything comes back to room temperature or whatever temperature, it tightens all up and does the job it's supposed to do. So we've got to get these races out. And this is a little tool that I have had for the 30 years I've been in the job. And you put it into the old race, wind it up, it expands it, clamps onto the inside lip, and then you can knock it out with a drift. Or what we use around here is old spindles. because they can take some abuse. Yeah, so you just put it in, get it above the lip of the race. Then you've got a good part behind it. Get behind it really good. How easy that tool, how easy life that tool makes it. So, once you found out where to ricochet to, pick it up, take it out, and do the next process for the top. Get a bar. So this one we're going to have to be a bit more careful. We don't want it ricocheting everywhere, but I've got that swing. I'm going to wait until the new ones even are nice and cold, and then we can press them into the plate. So wait again, so I'm going to get cleaned up and have a brew. Right, so what I was trying to explain previously is in freezing the steering stem, it actually shrinks ever so slightly, and warming up the bearing expands it slightly. So when we take the steering stem out of the freezer and the bearing off the radiator, they should just go together real smooth. They might need a little persuasion, but let's see how it goes. Hopefully it goes super smooth through the video. Here we have a freshly chilled yoke and stem from the freezer. Bearing from the radiator. Oh, there we go. It's a little ridge. So here's the gentle persuader. This fork tube is the exact diameter of the inner race of that bearing, so it sits perfectly. Note the tone. When it's seated, it was home, it becomes a solid knock. So there we go. So if this video now, if I can pick it up, you can see that the bearing is sat all the way home. My hand's freezing, could do with gloves. There we go. So the stem was pressed back in, the circlip put back on, and the bearing is now seated all the way home, ready to be greased up and built up. So we'll pack that with grease, super tight with grease. I use the ACF grease. I forget the actual name of it. I'll show you a picture of it later. But there we go. So there is the thermodynamics in action. I use it all the time with the bearing fits. It's very good. I'll show you on the races later when I put it in the frame.